Hey, all right. Okay, so I'm back. Let me pause the game really quick because I'm playing Left 4 Dead 2. Don't mind me. I'm honestly kind of checking in because I had recorded a video a few weeks ago, but unfortunately the camera was facing the wrong direction, and for some reason I didn't realize that until after I got ready to upload it, and I was like, damn. So I'm gonna try to just start using the front face camera mostly until I get a real camera. Um, so far I've been working on some music, some lyrics and stuff, and just working on getting better vocally. I'm working on tonality, pitch, control, and just like a variety of things. And to be honest, I think it's time for me to just start jumping into it and not worrying about what it sounds like or how I look and things like that, because honestly that has been my biggest hang up and biggest hindrance in general. Um and everybody wants authenticity until you actually genuinely put out something that's authentic to you, where you have bad vocals, bad stage presence, even though you're not actually performing, and they don't want to see you actually evolve. Like, some people, not everybody, but some people don't want to actually see you evolve as an artist or a creative, which honestly sucks because growing up, I used to be accustomed to, seeing an artist go from having zero talent, if you will, and stage presence to becoming an incredible vocalist and just like very determined and having immense stage presence. Like, it honestly is not a gift that you're born with. Like, yeah, some people have better like voices in terms of, you know, lack of heavy nasality, but if we're being completely honest, like, there's so many people out there who they don't have the ideal, if you will, voice, but yet they're pretty good at singing. Like, it's not it's very, very subjective. If I'm being completely honest with you, like, that's one thing that honestly keeps me going, is knowing that it's subjective. So one person could say, "Oh yeah, no, you're a terrible singer," while the other person next to them is like, "Oh wow, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I fucking love the way that they sing and the enunciation of your words." And I know a lot of people do the cursive singing, if you will, and sometimes I'm a fan, sometimes I'm not, but it honestly just depends on the person, the style, and the accent. So, like, I notice a lot of people say that Tate McRae, for example, is a cursive singer, and some people will say like, "Oh, she can't sing," but in my complete honest opinion, she can sing. Like, I truly enjoy her music, and some people say, "Well, that's auto tune." Okay, but everybody needs pitch correction from time to time, and the difference between auto tune and pitch correction: auto tune makes your voice sound, in my opinion, more robotic than it does natural. Pitch correction, like, say you're hitting a flat note. Well, if you turn on pitch correction, it will correct it to sound more on, like, the note that it's supposed to sound. But the thing is, like, that's also subjective, because what if how you want to, like, sing it, or you want it to come across, is on a flat versus a sharp, or versus, quote unquote on pitch. But it's like, I just think that there's way too big of a spectrum for you to, like, really decide, like, oh, this person is on pitch or not, unless they're singing like they're screeching, like, or they're just hooting and hollering. Then that's like the difference. But when it actually comes to someone being on pitch or sharp, flat, it's like, if it sounds good in the moment, or sounds good for that particular song, like, it is what it is. Now, for me, I'm someone who wants raw vocals. Like, yeah, of course I'll use some pitch correction, um, and maybe some auto tune, but I really try to pride myself on just getting better vocally, whether that's the stamina and endurance, or straight, like, trying to match pitch like off the bat, because when you have to like slide into the correct pitch, like obviously that's not ideal for a singer or performer. But as humans, this is something I hear a lot, is like we're not perfect, and of course we're not a machine, so we can't automatically just, have that pitch correction going on. um Now, unless you have perfect pitch, which is actually in a rare anomaly, but you can have, I forgot what they call it. It's like you have the close proximity to like being pitch perfect. Um, I forgot the correct term for it, but even then, it's better to have that. Well, I've read a few music theory books where it's like, honestly, having perfect pitch isn't necessarily ideal because they have their own, shortcomings. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like if you enjoy what you do, that's what really matters. And as long as you're willing to improve and do like little things here and there that will actually help you in the grand scheme of things, I think that's the main factor. And that's the most important, nuance to it, is like doing your research and literally like finding ways to become better at what you're doing. And so that's kind of like a quick rundown on what I've been doing vocally. I've been like trying to, just write random things and train, and work on my vocal agility, endurance, stamina, etc. Right? And you can kind of like group those in together, but they're really a separate category if I'm being honest. Um, then I've also been kind of like composing beats in my head, but I've been studying music theory on and off for a few weeks now. Even though it's been like, if I'm being really truthful, it's been, I would say, 3 to 4 years on and off, but really hammering it in over the last few weeks and learning like what pitches, not pitches, what key majors are more like dramatic, theatrical, sad and somber, to happy and bubbly and upbeat. Um, and one thing that I've like struggled with personally is that I have I've been wanting to lean more into pop and like dirty pop kind of thing, like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Tate McRae, some of Beyonce's earlier work, and things like that. I mean, when I think of dirty pop, like I honestly think of like Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and artists on that caliber, maybe like Christina Aguilera. But like what really sucks though is like when you're someone of, a black background, right? They oftentimes, people want to put you into like the category of like R&B and soulful, right? And I love R&B and soul music down, and like jazz and the blues. But I've always not graduated. Oh my god. I'm honestly thinking of like the past like videos that I've seen on YouTube about that girl that did the splits during graduation. She was like, she was honestly really happy, and I feel like personally, in my opinion, how she handled it wasn't the best, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's her graduation, she made it, she did her thing, so for them to withhold her diploma from her, I honestly think that's fucked up. But back to the point, um, I gradually feel like all the things that encapsulate what people believe I should do because I'm black or of an African American descent, if you will, I just I like it. I don't want to incorporate a bunch of things into it, but I've always um uh I've kind of always like orbited towards like pop music, bubbly pop or dirty pop or like risque, sexy, just kind of deviant, if you will. Like I grew up listening to the Pussycat Dolls like in 2005. How old was I? Let's see, 21 years ago. So I was like about 7 or 8, maybe 6 to 8. We'll give it like a rough estimate around there. I was listening to Don't Ya, and that was me and my mom's favorite song. That and Mariah Carey. Like, I would always sing We Belong Together at a very young age, and it's like, what do you know about that? Like, you were too young for that. But I genuinely loved music like that. And so, and I kind of classify Mariah Carey as like pop and R&B, kind of like in between. But the Pussycat Dolls were definitely like a pop icon for me. And eventually, when I came out as being gay, like I really wanted to embark on just owning my sexuality, and like I'm not necessarily fluid in terms of like the whole like what people often associate with me. They'd be like, yeah, it's queen and things like that. But just like, I just love the whole hypersexuality and femininity where it's like, yeah, I call the shots. I own the power of this. Like, women empowerment has always been at the forefront when it comes to pop, right? And that's kind of like something that I always thought about. I was like, it would actually be pretty cool if you have like gay artists that kind of similarly do the same things. And that's why like I kind of always gravitated towards Lady Gaga's music. The only thing is I liked her Poker Face, Just Dance, and kind of her Monster era more than like her later work. And obviously, I grew up, I didn't, when Taylor Swift first stepped onto the scene, I didn't really pay her any mind like that until the song You Belong With Me came out. And I kind of followed her on and off throughout the years, but I recently, not real recent, I would say at least, okay, so this isn't going to really be recent, but like maybe 1 to 2 years ago, I listened to Love Story finally, and I actually loved it. Like, she is very, very skilled at telling a story and painting a narrative and a picture, and that is like her strong suit when it comes to music, right? People often say like, oh, she can't sing, she can't hold a note, blah, 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 blah. It's all subjective because I love her music. I do. I love Love Story, Sparks Fly, I believe it's called. Enchanted, that's one of my favorites. And wait, is it Enchanted or Enchanting? Okay, this sounds like really bad because it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna lie to you, like when it comes to lyrics, I can get the lyrics. It's enchanting to meet you. Something like, damn it. This looks so bad. I'm kind of a few drinks deep into Chardonnay. Maybe I want to say like 6 glasses if I'm being honest. But I love Blank Space. I loved Red. I actually was listening to Red a few days ago and I just love it. Like the imagery that she paints in that song is like incredible. And I always think of the Target ad where she like grabs the I mean, I guess you can call it wallpaper. She grabs the wallpaper and starts just revealing the Target logo, and it was like, oh, like when a guy's like talking about his red flags or whatever, and you're like peeling them back, and you're just like so happy, and you still don't care. Like that was the kind of I think it was on TikTok that I saw that. It was either on TikTok or Instagram when I had an Instagram at the time, and it was just I just loved that ad. Like me ignoring his red flags. I think it was like titled or whatever. it was a good time. But I love that. I love um again, You Belong With Me. I Knew You Were Trouble, which I thought the recent song was kind of a like a newer, updated style of that. And I was like, oh, I kind of like that they went with I Knew, or I forgot what it's called for Toy Story 5. But it's like I Knew, and I was like, oh, I love that. Like it reminds me of when she came out with that song. And I love Wildest Dreams, Style. Like there's just so many classic songs in there. Out of the Woods, like I just love it. And I feel like her 1989 album was definitely the pinnacle of all albums to me. And I loved Reputation. Getaway Car was one of my favorites. And another one from that one I would say is, fuck. I definitely love Look What You Made Me Do. That when that lyric video and the music video dropped, oh my god. When I tell you that encapsulate everything for me, like the diamonds, even though I found out, of course, it wasn't like real diamond, a bathtub full of diamonds. Like I would love to sit in a bathtub full of diamonds, like, and then the snakes, even though they were CGI. Like I just love the whole concept. Okay, and Call It What You Want and Are You Ready for It? Like there's so many different songs, singles, and I Did Something Bad. Like there's so many classic Taylor Swift moments from Reputation that I just pushed me even further towards like the pop aesthetic. And like I love Tinashe, Chris Brown, Rihanna, Beyonce, Coco Jones, and like so many different R&B artists. But I also love so many different pop artists. Like I also grew up loving the Backstreet Boys. I also listened to Blackstreet, which was like the R&B version of Backstreet Boys. I also listened to fuck, what's the other group called? Damn it, I forgot. Oh, NSYNC. I listened to NSYNC. I listened to just so many different artists. Christina Aguilera, of course, Britney Spears. I've listened to Flo Rida. Like I've listened to Nicki Minaj. I listened to hundreds and thousands of different artists. Whether it's trap music, bubblegum pop, regular pop, dirty pop, R&B, blues, jazz, etc. Like I love Kenny G Down, and the way that he plays his music is so transformative. Like it made me want to pick up a jazz instrument, honestly. And another icon that I looked up to is Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez. So I have like a variety, right? And I want to really decide on like what genre I want to do, but I low key want to do a mix of genres. And like nowadays we're in such a progressive era where it's like, oh, you could do so many different genres, so many different things. And the thing is like I'm black, I consider myself black, other people consider me black. Like when I come across white demographics, Asian demographics, Hispanic demographics, they all consider me black. Like I've faced racism on the black end of things. Like it was never like, oh, you have European features, etc. So it's like at the end of the day, like I consider myself black. So whenever I'm around like other black people, like we joke around and yeah, we say the N word together and all things like that. But it also feels weird because like some black people don't claim me. So it's kind of like, well, if they don't really fuck with me like that or claim me, it feels kind of like weird to try to find my place in music, because it's like, okay, well, if I do R&B, there's going to be quite a few black people out there who don't necessarily agree with me or identify me as black because I have European and Asian descendant type features. Like I'm partially European. Oh my god, I can't speak. European. So I'm like Dutch. I have like a very, very small amount of Irish in me. and Germanic. Um, I don't even know if I said that right, but like partially German. But I'm heavily Indonesian and black. Like I have so many different sides of like the African side of me, right? And I know they say like um what was it? Ancestry.com and stuff, like those tests are not accurate, but that's what I took, and I got a heavy chunk of being like African descendant and like black, and then like a smaller percentage of white, but I'm specifically like black and Asian based, right? And so sometimes like when I'm in like a black sector, I know like a lot of black people don't necessarily identify with me, but then there are a good amount that do. So I honestly want to incorporate different genres, but it's at the same time like I don't want it to be like weird, like I'm trying to pander to one demographic or the other, because I'm really not. I honestly just love pop, but I also want to tap into like my different cultures, because growing up, like my family did not know what I was or know what they were specifically. um and it was always like very frustrating because I'm someone that always wanted to tap into his cultures. And the thing is, like, I would love to learn the Dutch language, but I heard it's like really difficult. Then I also want to learn Indonesian, which I also heard like it was like intermediate. But then I also wanted to learn, um, like any sort of African languages. But the language that's highly used at my workplace is Spanish. So I was like focusing on Spanish. But to be quite honest with you, I just want to learn so many different languages. Like I want to become at least bilingual. If not bilingual, I want to be trilingual. But um, there's just so many different languages I want to learn that are a part of my culture. But I also want to like tap into music. I want to like aim towards pop, but use those different cultural like background instruments. Like I definitely want to like incorporate whatever instruments are used in Indonesia, or like the Asian culture, the African culture, and like the Irish. Like I wouldn't say I want to become like this new innovative artist, because obviously like everything's been said and done and thought of and created in the past. But like I want to incorporate that specifically in my music. So I'm like learning music theory, I'm learning how to like plug everything in together, I'm learning what keys sound good together and what doesn't. I'm also learning like um the basically the basics, of like rhythm, pitch control, like things like that. And so I've been like here and there and all over the place, but I've also been like still conjuring up like beats in my head, ideas, and just like trying to process everything, writing down on physical paper. And I've also been like typing in my notes app and creating lyrics. I've also recently I've been at work just like coming up with like concept albums, um, color schemes for the album, etc. Um, this video is already on 24 minutes. That's crazy. I've been like doing a lot of things, and I've also been working on becoming more flexible, incorporating dances and stuff. Because like I honestly, at this point in my life, like I'm almost 30, right? I'm 1 year away from 30. Well, to be honest, a couple months away from 30. And I feel like I want my moment. But I also like want to be a low key indie pop artist, if you will, that has kind of like a unique, I guess a unique sound, but like let's be real, I honestly love how The Weeknd, I would say his Starboy era. I love how that sounds, and I can do like falsettos, and I can also do low ranges, but like I'm still working on trying to figure out where like my comfortable range is because I haven't actually sat down and like taken it serious enough to like know. But I've worked with vocal coaches like on and off throughout the years, and some of them classify me as a tenor, but then I was like using apps where I would like take it more serious, and I got baritone, but I'm kind of like in the middle. Like my natural voice is a little deeper than it is. Let's see if I could do it now. Um, so this is kind of like my natural voice is a little lower, but I normally heighten it just so I can like be perceived as a little more friendly, and it might sound a little bit of the same to you, depending on like the device you're listening through or the audio set or whatever. It's slightly lower, and I promise you I'm not like intentionally lowering it. I'm just allowing it to come out as normal. But I feel like I talk really slow when I do it, so I tend to, kind of lighten it up a little bit so I can talk a little faster and make it, but it comes across as very like nasally, which I hate that. I hate sounding nasally. And I saw a video on YouTube a couple days ago where they were like, yeah, I don't understand how Camila became the most popular one out of Fifth Harmony because her voice sounds terrible. She's nasally, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, again, music is subjective. And I actually do listen to a couple of her songs, and aside from like her racist tweets in the past, like I genuinely feel like some songs actually are a banger. Like they're catchy, definitely influential. Excuse me. They're definitely influential in my opinion, um, to the kind of style. Like I Know What You Did with Shawn Mendes. Like I love that song. I do. Um, and originally she had the demo for God Is a Woman before it got passed to Ariana, which I love Ariana Grande's version of God Is a Woman. And I love Get on Your Knees, by Ariana featuring Nicki Minaj, and Side to Side featuring Nicki Minaj. And that's another thing, is like I listen to Nicki so heavy. Like of course I fuck with all the rap girls. Like I listen to Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Lotto. I've listened to Little Kim in the past. Um, who's another one? Iggy Azalea. And like I genuinely love different types of female artists, but my top like lyricists that I always try to emulate to improve on my craft, if you will, because I'm not really a rapper, is Nicki Minaj, because I love her cadence, her flow, her articulation, the emphasis that she puts on certain words over others, her wordplay. Like her pen game is sickening. Like, and so I fucking look up to her musically, and just so many artists. Like I also love Little Mix, Fifth Harmony, One Direction, so many different artists. And I feel like this video is 20 minutes, and I feel like all of them kind of influence me. And I also listen to Sabrina Carpenter, Tate McRae, love her down. Just so many artists, and like Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Rihanna, like so many different. But my problem that I have currently with the music is like a lot of it is being recycled, sampled, and so many different things. But the one thing that I don't like is the comparisons. Like Britney to Tate, Addison Rae to Britney. Like I feel like of course we're gonna compare because that's what humans do. We like to compare, contrast, whatever. But I feel like at some point we need to allow artists to create their own wave, whether they took inspiration from someone or not. I do not think that should always excuse me. I do not think that should always be the topic of conversation, whether someone's copying someone or not, because I genuinely feel like a lot of these artists, they do take inspiration, and some of them really genuinely do copy each other, But as someone who listened to Katy Perry for like a long time, the style of, I would say, her Prism album and maybe like her, I don't know what song this was a part of. Um, I think it was off her it was off her Witness album. The Swish Swish Bish, like there are certain elements of that song that I love. So it's like I'm gonna take a little bit of influences from that. I've also listened to older artists like I can't think of his name right now, but he was like an artist in like the 80s. And I listen to like different artists from different genres, different time periods. Hell, I've even listened to Bach a couple times, and I just like want to mix all the elements together, like the way that Adele chooses songs that are like very dramatic and deep, or the way you have like someone like Madison Beer's music sound more enchanting and like lullaby type. Like I love a variety of artists and genres that I want to kind of take bits and pieces from each one without making it sound chaotic. So that's kind of like where the album concepts and album eras come into like picture. Um, but a lot of artists are gun ho over um letting you know like, oh, it was my idea, it was my concept, so you'll like get sued essentially, or they come after you for like compensation and things like that. So my biggest takeaway though is like I want to create music that is true to me, whether people think I can sing or not, or can play an instrument well or not, or whatever. Like I'm just doing it because it's a part of my self-expression, and I've learned that like I have this heart-wrenching notion in me that everything that I've done is not as satisfying as writing music. And it sucks because I have so many hangups. I'm like, well, I'm not that great at playing an instrument. I'm not that great at singing right now. Like, or that great at rapping. Like, my rap flow is ass, but I'm working to improve daily. It's just the things that I'm afraid to show and be vulnerable with, I hold back. And it's like, I really need to stop doing that. If I'm like going to develop myself as an artist, it's important to just put yourself out there and then get like tips, tricks, and advice from like the general public, because what one person loves, the other person might hate but give you criticism. And some people, they don't give you criticism, they just straight up leave nasty, rude comments. And honestly, it's your job to just filter that out. But if someone genuinely is like, oh, I think you would do better with this song or in this key, or, focus on high notes, low notes, mid range, like, I think that is an important takeaway. But overall, like, I've been writing music, getting better at the craft of writing, and I've been kind of like, which I need to just full fledged focus on vocal work as well. But I've been doing like things. Um, but yeah, I've been just going through the motions of life, working on becoming better, um, learning how to enunciate correctly when it comes to singing. Because if you don't do that at least properly to a degree, you can tell it sounds terrible. But sometimes you can like bend and fix words in ways, or like add emphasis on certain parts of words to make it flow and fit. So I've been like literally learning how to do that. So music theory, um, rhyming, rapping, etc. Like so many different things. And I honestly can't wait for you guys to start seeing videos where I'm like showing you my progress and my setbacks and all of that. Because 34 minutes, fuck. I'm not trying to make this video long, but honestly, I'm kind of am, because I'm just like putting everything out on the table at this point. Like, I just want to put out a video that's completely authentic to how I feel, who I am, and the process that I've been on. And overall, like, I'm pushing more towards my passion. And again, I don't care if I ever make it into being a mainstream pop artist or like just remain a small artist. I just know I love music. It speaks to me every day, whether I'm going through something or not, or just want to turn on a song just for fun. Like, my favorite song as of right now, like my top favorite, is Mr. Know It All by Teddy Swims. That is my go-to. Like, I deadass have been thinking of getting a tattoo that kind of like encapsulates the entire song, not just a lyric, but like the entire song. And I've been like fighting that demon because it's like, well, what if you end up growing to hate the song? Or what if he turns out to not be such a great person? But it's like, honestly, I just love that song. It speaks to me. So we'll see what I do. Might just get like a domino. Because in the song, he talks about taking dominoes from a coffee can and setting them up and watching them fall and do it over again. Like, I just love that. And like a tennis ball through a ceiling fan, bet you never end up falling back in my hands. Like, I love that shit. That's another thing. Like, I also try not to like sing or rap because I sound monotone, so I try not to do that on camera. But at some point, I'm gonna have to start doing it, putting myself out there, whether I get embarrassed or not, get dragged online or not. Like, a lot of the changes come from the strength of enduring ridicule, backlash, criticism, and just taking that and building and becoming better at it. But there are some artists out there, no matter what they do, are just like get dragged, treated crazy, or disrespected. It's like, at some point, you just gotta live your life. So that's what I'm hoping to do. And one of the artists that come to mind is Sweetie. They always talk about how she can't rap, she doesn't have a flow, she doesn't have this, she doesn't have that, she's monotone, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you know what? At the end of the day, she made a good amount of impact and money, just like doing what she enjoyed. So that's all that matters. If you enjoy what you do and you have an impact on somebody, that's all that really matters. Like, fuck the money, fuck the glitz, fuck the glam, fuck all that. If you can have an impact and people actually look up to you, that's all that really matters. And even if they don't, fuck it, you're still doing what you love. So that was my quick rundown, quick up-to-date video. And from here on up, here on out, we're just gonna go up. And I might be a little inebriated, but hopefully my words weren't slurring too bad, and hopefully I don't get dragged for this video or it doesn't get taken down or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to come through, keep it 100, and just let you know that we're gonna do better from this day forward and be more consistent. All right, thanks for sticking out this long. If you did, leave a green heart in the comments, and like, comment, subscribe, and as always, leave positivity in the comments, because you never know who else reads it and you make their day and you inspire them. And just be true to you, no matter who thinks you're weird, lame, annoying, whack. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just be true to you, and those who belong in your life will be there, and those who feel like you're an inspiration will automatically gravitate towards you. All right, have a good one, and I will catch you in a few days, actually, a few hours, because we're gonna make sure we do this. All right, peace out.